Welcome back. Today we are going to take this drag that I had made last year to pull behind the side-by-side and convert it to go on the skid steer. It ended up just being too heavy.
Very heavy.
Yes.
It's a little bit over 6 feet wide and it's made out of I-beams and C-channel. So I overbuilt it a little bit, but that's alright because I think if we make it for the skid steer, it ought to work out just fine. I bought a plate. So let's see if we can make this work. So the first thing I'm going to do here is cut off this hitch since we don't need that anymore. If I was going to build this from the beginning for skid steer, I probably would have done it a little bit differently because I wouldn't really have needed that pivot in there. But this is what I got, so we're going to make it work. I'm stick welding all this together. I prefer stick welding over MIG welding personally. And I'm using 6011. That's my rod of choice for pretty much everything. Alright, here's how I got this tacked up. I just lined this edge up with the inside of the I-beam. I was going to line this edge up, but then I thought if I got it at this angle, that the pin would interfere with hitting this. So I think I'm going to tack it up a little better and then maybe test it out on the skid steer, make sure it works before I get too crazy. Alright, I got it tacked a little better. Let's try it out. Alright, so that seemed like it was a success. Now I gotta decide what I want to have for reinforcements. I think I at least gotta tie this to here. The reason I didn't do that before is because this needed to pivot. So I think I'll put some kind of bracing on here. But I do think I should add some, like one in the middle maybe, tying all these together. So if I get one of these caught on a rock or something, it doesn't want to bend. Alright, so I got these notched and cut. Go on here. That should support that. And then I got a piece of angle here to support this end. Alright, I got this flipped up here. I added this piece. This piece is this 3/4 inch plate. That's part of a fold excavator thumb. I got these welded in. I got it flipped up to do some welding on the other side, and then I think I'm going to call this done. Alright, so I've had a chance to use this now for maybe 3 or 4 hours, and it's working pretty good. I tried it on just dirt and gravel. It works really good on gravel, works pretty good on dirt, and then now I'm working in the rocks, and it works, but this machine's kind of too small to be pushing rock, but it is working. Here's a shot of what it looks like before I do anything. The terrain is always really hard to tell on camera, but this is pretty rugged. It's not at all flat. Ton of rock. And then over here is where I kind of started to push some of the rocks out. And then as we get up farther, I've done more and more work. So when I get up to here, this is starting to look really good. I mean, this is almost all rock, and there's plenty of rock below this, but I'm kind of able to push some of the rock and leave some of the dirt. So it's actually been working really good. I mean, this area is 100 times better than it was. So we're gonna try to turn that other area into this. well, I'm out of time for today, so I think I'm going to end this video here. But overall, this thing works really good. I mean, I have no money into this except for that back plate. That was like $120 or something on eBay. But all this other stuff was just scrap steel I had laying around. If I was going to build this again, there's a few things I would do differently. First, if I was going to build it for a skid steer to begin with, I wouldn't have had all that pivot stuff on there. That's really unnecessary for this. But I had built this originally as a drag to go behind the side by side, but it just ended up being too heavy. So I would have gotten rid of all that stuff and maybe just had one brace going down to there. I also think I maybe would have put like one more bar in the middle. Also, another thing, I think my angle of my plate is a little bit too steep. I wanted to do this because sometimes you can't tip up as far as you'd like with this. When you have your plate straight up and down, like how on pallet forks you can't. Sometimes you want to get your forks up farther, and you just can't. So I put it at this angle, but it makes it, for whatever reason, kind of hard to hook up the quick attach to. And also, I think I would have put the quick attach slightly higher, because with this, even with it all the way down, this bottom can't really dig in at all. It will touch the ground, but it won't really bite into the ground. So I think I would have put the plate higher, put the plate a little bit straighter. I would have gotten rid of that nonsense there, and maybe even made it a touch heavier, because when in float mode, this could use some more weight to go down. Also, it would be nice to have like some kind of removable teeth or something, like scarifiers of sorts to tear up the ground, because once it gets really packed too, you can't just use it with float mode. You gotta physically push down with it. But all in all, this thing's worked out great so far, and I've put this thing to a pretty hot suffer, and it seems to be holding up just fine. I mean, I've been banging into rocks, and I haven't seen anything that's cracked, broken, or bent yet, so it looks like it's going to hold up good too. I will paint it. I just wanted to try it and make sure everything was good before I painted it. But yeah, we'll get you on the next video, and I'm going to be using this again on the new part of the land to get that cleaned up so we can get ready for seed.